Hi, so a little while ago I started building an auto level, and if you want to see the building process of that, I made a video on that process here. And today I'm going to be continuing that going into the drop of the song, and I'm super excited because I want to do some more like vertical movement and stuff, kind of take more advantage of the auto game mode in a way. Is it a game mode? Style. The auto gameplay style? It's not really gameplay, I don't know. Anyway, this whole first part is going to be a lot of post commentary because I screwed up my mic and it sounds like this. I am officially back in Australia. Yeah, this is the first full video I'm recording back in Australia, so I kind of screwed up my mic settings when I brought it back over here, but it's good now, I think. Anyway, I guess without further ado, let's get on to the building of this level. I started off with a bit of a temporary background color, then started adding a bit of structuring in. I decided to go with these kind of diamonds made out of slopes because, I don't know, I just really wanted to for some reason. Then I added these pads here, which sync pretty nicely with the song. I tweaked the placement of some of the diamonds, and then added this pillar right below this blue pad here. And this would essentially be the structuring style I'd go with for the rest of this part, going between diamonds and pillars. Then here I'm continuing this going into a wave part to try and match with the music a little bit more, because if you listen to it, you can kind of hear the is kind of more accentuated as you get into the wave part, so I kind of wanted to show that with having a wave, very snappy game mode, you know? And so I tried to use the diamonds to their full advantage and make it a little bit more interesting than just having pads and portals to flip the gravity constantly, and I added a few D blocks on the slopes like this. Then eventually I kind of realized that these portals look a little bit dumb, so I actually went ahead and scaled them down here. From there, it was just using all these different elements to throw the icons around and sync it to the music. And so yeah, after a decent bit of work, the gameplay for this part was complete. Ooh! I was worried that second wave part wasn't quick enough, but honestly, I really like that. Thanks, gross mic Tride. So yeah. From here, of course, I wanted to make sure that it is possible on every refresh rate. So I tested it on 60 Hz and also tested it on 360, just to make sure that it actually works on every frame rate. And there were a couple interesting cases with this. You may have noticed in the montage, there was one where playtesting in the editor, you'd land on this slopey bit here, but in the actual game, you would just completely miss it. Add that to the other couple little inconsistencies with the slope, and I just decided to get rid of that and add a pillar there instead. There was also this pad here, which sent you higher on some refresh rates and lower on others. I didn't know that pads did that with different refresh rates, but you know, whatever. But after enough playtesting and enough adjusting, I eventually got it working completely fine in the end. Alright, and from here, it's time to actually start work on the decoration for this part. I started by changing the background color to a bit more of like a green, and I went ahead and changed the object color to kind of match that, because before I had it set to copy the color of the background, but be the complementary color of it, but it looked a bit ugly in this case, so I went ahead and changed it to more of a lighter green. Then I sat and scratched my head for ages until I discovered this really strange block. I think this is meant to be for these types of slopes here, but honestly I thought it looked cool in its own, and I discovered that if you rotate it in a certain way, it actually creates these really cool looking diamond patterns. So I decided to run with it. I made this kind of tileable design here and then messed around with it until I got it looking decent. Then after that, I decided I wanted to make them all pulse a bit differently with the music, so I went ahead and gave them all separate groups. And then using this little handy dandy feature of the pulse trigger, I managed to just pulse the inside of the diamonds, and I think it looks really cool. And after giving them an outline, it was time to fill in the rest of the blocks. However, I kind of discovered something. Most of the spaces you can fill in with just normal blocks and slopes like this, but this space in particular proved a little bit more difficult. This is a very irregular shape and comes from two different slopes coming together. You can't really fill that space in nicely. Of course, I could still fill it in just with a bunch of 3D line objects or whatever, but I wanted to have this be like a textured block, not just a blank color. So I went ahead and started by filling in some blocks behind all of the diamond patterns, and I gave them the background color. That is not the color of the background. Hello? Astute observation, garbage mic Tride. Yeah, so then I made them the background color. And then from there, I just used these types of slopes and blocks here to fill in the rest of the gaps. Gave them a nice blending color, but then decided the outlines needed a little something more. So I used these objects, which I've used before in a project, I can't remember which one, but I have used them before. Oh, it was the top one memory level. That's where I used them. And after adjusting the the colors a little bit, I decided to add some dark glow behind them just to give a little bit more depth to it, right? I started by using normal slope glow, but that kind of poked out the edges. So what I actually ended up doing is using these objects here. I just made color 1 black blending, so the outline disappeared, and color 2 be whatever the gradient I want it to be. It took a little bit more to line these up because they're not very well lined up by default, thanks RobTop. But after I lined them up pretty nicely, it looks really decent actually. And so from there, it was time to just copy paste a few of them into place and then get the pulses going, just to test if this design would look decent. I made the pulses go up in a staircase like this, and this gives this kind of a pattern, but I also went ahead and reversed them for some of them as well, just to try and match up with the music a bit nicer. And you can see the effect that has here. I don't know, I think it's pretty neat. Right, well that is essentially half of the block design complete. Now it's just time to move on to the pillars, which I started by actually adding in quite a few more. I decided that I actually really liked this design where the pillar connects to the slope, and I thought it would be cool if I connect the slopes to each other and kind of connect them to the ground, to the ceiling, and all that kind of stuff, right? So I went ahead and added a bunch more doing exactly that, connecting these different structures to each other and to the ground and to the ceiling, just to fill in a bit more space in a way as well. Then I decided I wanted to procrastinate with building the pillars, so I went ahead and added some pulses and some hue changes. As you can see, this just changes up the part a whole lot, and I think it just looks way cooler with a bunch more pulses and hue changes, right? But then I decided I couldn't put it off any longer. I needed to design these pillars. Until I came up with another idea, and that is to turn this like outside bit to black. Adds more contrast, gets more black into it. I'm always on a mission to add more black. You know it, you know it. Okay, now it's actually time to start work on the pillars, which I can understand why I was putting this off because I came up with a bunch of different designs that I just wasn't really happy with. Did a bunch of experimentation until I decided to try and use these blocks with an unusual color palette. I set the side of them to black like this, and then decided it might be cool if I alternate them going down like this. And then I had an even cooler idea with these, and that is to use rotate triggers to kind of flip them going back and forth. The rotate triggers are just set to rotate the objects around 180 degrees instantly, and because there's no one object that is like the center group ID, it just rotates each object around itself. Scaling that up to more pillars and more triggers, it looks like this, and I think it's a really cool effect actually. And then from there, I needed to come up with a design for the top of these pillars, and I started by trying to use just like the tops of these blocks here, but that didn't work with rotate triggers all too well. And I actually settled for lava objects here. Yeah, a bit of an unusual choice. I made them a really bright blending color for the base, and then for the outline I made them a darker color. And it's a bit funky, but honestly I kind of like it. And so after putting all of the pillars in place, that was me done for this building session. Here's the part so far. Guys, I have good news. My mic is good now. Woo! Yeah, I only recorded for like 2 hours with a horrible mic. So yeah, this is what I've got so far. I'm actually really happy with how this has turned out so far. I think a lot of like these flipping designs, these pulsing bits, it makes everything feel really dynamic, you know? And I want to try and continue that dynamicness with a custom background. Oh yeah, I'm doing a custom background. I actually have an idea for this. I came up with this idea while I was on a walk just before, and it's actually a decent custom background. I don't know, we'll see how it turns out, but my idea is that I want to go ahead and maybe even use these things potentially. Not quite what I'm looking for really. No. It stands out a bit too much though. That's the only thing. It stands out too much. I think I need something nice and flat for this design. So I'm not going to use any of these kind of slopes here. I want to go for something more, I don't know, like this or something. Would these slopes work? I don't know, man. I'll do these, and I want them to have like a bit of space in the middle, and then maybe have that. Yeah, something like that, right? And then I can put something else in the middle here. Not that. Yeah, something like that, honestly. Yeah, I think that works quite well, actually. I'm trying to like select this and make this kind of match the color of these blending bits, and maybe I'll make these blending bits like not as bright because I don't want these to be super like in your face anyway. Yeah, that's pretty good, honestly. Have these be all on B4 and scale these up to about, let's go 2 times, sure. And you can see how that would be in the background, right? Yeah. So you can see these move with the player pretty well, which I do like. But what I want to do to make these a little bit more dynamic is I kind of want to get a movement for 33, and let's move it by, let's go 2 across and 4 down. So like that. And I want to give that a bounce out, I think. Yeah, and then give that 0.2 maybe. Oh, that didn't work. Make that positive 20, and hopefully that should just Yeah, like that, so we'll go. So I'll do something like that, and then 34 can go 20 and -10, and then so we can kind of alternate them like that, right? And then I can like kind of sync that up with the music. I'm finally learning how to make custom backgrounds. This is amazing. I'm so happy, dude. And that ends perfectly. We just need to make it fade in, I reckon. All right, so I'm actually really happy with that custom background, not gonna lie. Oh my god, did I actually just forget to add this pillar in? Okay, give me a sec. Alright, so now I wanted to come up with a little bit of a saw blade design, which I'm going to speed through this real quick because it took a lot of experimentation. I tried a couple things, but I really didn't want this part to look too cluttered. It started to take away the kind of open feeling of it all, and I really didn't want that. So I wanted to be kind of like conservative with my saw blade placement, right? So instead of coming up with a design first, I came up with placements first. After that, I placed a few more structures in just to get rid of some of the empty spaces that are below the level, which you don't actually interact with, but you can see down there, and I want to make that look good, right? And then finally, after all that, I came up with a winning design for the saw blade. What I'm tempted to do is have something like that, and then have like some of these circle objects in the center, like that. Chuck them there, scale them up a little bit, and make these, I guess, 7 as well. What I am also going to do is use some of these, where are they? These pixel blocks here, maybe? Or maybe even like the smaller ones. And what I want to do is give these the pulsing group. So what do the pulsing groups start on? So we start off with 20 here, copy paste them, rotate them like this, and then give those 21. Oh, it's so close. Yeah, you can't even see it in the saw blade. All right, that's chill. Bro, you can't see it, but my mouth was wide open then. Dude, that is sick. That's so cool. That's so awesome, dude. That's awesome. I love that. Oh my god. All right, well, I'm sold. Let's replace all the saw blades with this then. All right, I'm a little bit like wary to add more details because I don't really want to like make it too messy. What I might do is I'll go ahead and put a couple clouds in just to like indicate that you're in the clouds. I don't know. Just kind of in and around these kind of bits, right? So it's kind of like sticking out of there or whatever. Nothing like very in your face, just another extra little detail, you know? Yeah, just a couple clouds in there, just to add a little bit more detail, you know? I don't know, I like them. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call this part complete. I might come back to it again. I might just like make tweaks to any of these parts. I could make tweaks to any of them. So yeah, I think it's about time we move on to the next part. I think in this video I want to go up to that part where it goes boo-da-doo-doo for the rest of the drop. I want that to change styles completely. For this second half of this first bit here, I want to like incorporate some of these still, but not a huge amount, and change most of the deco. But first, of course, we got to come up with a little bit of gameplay. I decided to go straight into ship for this part, and like I said earlier, I wanted to go ahead and incorporate some of the slopey structures from the previous part. But I wanted this part to use them in a completely different context and feel entirely different, and that's why I went with a ship which has very defined borders. That being said though, I thought it would be interesting if those defined borders moved a little bit, so I went ahead and put another ship portal down here, which would move the whole camera downwards. The gameplay itself was just the ship basically bouncing off pads and portals and slopes, trying to give it the same feel as the music, you know, make it sync as much as possible and make it look interesting, you know? But while doing that, I discovered that the gameplay is really quite finicky, not gonna lie. Oh, really? So shifting that back, like, made it stop working. That's interesting. I gotta make sure that if I place, like, some structures below these, that it's fine, right? And so after making sure of that, it was just time to go ahead and build the rest of the gameplay with the same kind of principles that I've already outlined here. And then that'll go into the next part. All right, I think that's pretty good. Let's give that a test in normal mode real quick. That's cool. I like that. I think that's pretty decent. I have a feeling there's going to be a bit of a mess between like the different ground sections and all that, because what I want to do is I want to have some ground spikes going along. Yeah, I want to do like a little bit more of an enclosed feel for this, but I also want it to like shift up and down a little bit. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to just like incorporate that, right? I have a feeling I know how to do it. I think I'm just going to decorate this first bit here and then continue from there. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I'll start putting in a couple of these spikes here, just like so. I just realized I didn't come up with a spike design for this, but we only have like 2, so. And I'm debating whether I want some bigger structures, but I think it's fine. So, all right, let me go ahead and let me make the background a bit brighter because it's a little bit dark and dingy, isn't it? Well, it goes from purple to blue, and then I could go back to a purple. So now what I'm thinking of doing is I kind of want to use these ground spikes here, and then they'll curve off about here, and then go down maybe a slopey bit, which will be using these maybe, where this goes down, and then this will meet up with the new like bottom bit, which I can do something like that, right? Yeah. And then these ground spikes will go over those blocks as well. I want these to be all on a new layer though, so let me go ahead and, come on. Oh my god. Okay, so we have these going along like this, and I could even like do a similar thing over here where I have these cut off. What I also want to do to incorporate something interesting in this is go to the animated tab here and use these ground spikes as well, and kind of mix those in. Completely stealing this from that non-demon level. Wait, is that video out yet? I don't know if that video is going to be out yet, but if you've seen the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that's a pretty decent start, and let me do something similar on the top here as well. And I'm also going to go ahead and I guess start to fill in these blocks below them. I'm gonna actually scale up just a block to 3 times the scale. Object efficiency, you know what I'm saying? Object efficiency, yeah. Now this needs a lot more decoration to it. What I might do is Alright, I'm actually really happy with this ground spike design. Now I think it's just time to apply this design to the rest of the part. Oh god. Alright, I have no idea how long that took, but I have all of the ground spikes in place here. And I started experimenting a little bit with having like a different corner design because I felt like, I don't know, it like jutted out a little bit weirdly. I wasn't super happy with that. So I might go ahead and convert all of these like edges to this type of a thing because I think it's a little bit nicer. Alright, the rounded corners have been put in, and I'm kind of tempted to do something like this where Why can't I rotate that? What? You can't rotate those? Are you serious? I thought you could rotate them. I swear you could. Okay, I guess you can't. Whatever. I guess we'll leave them bare then. That's fine. That's fine. Now, I want to come up with a bit of a pillar design, and I'm tempted to bring back something from earlier in the level. Like, bring back these or something could be interesting. I'm not 100% sure, though. I could do this same design, but it's just, like, in a different context, right? Hey, you know what? I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do the same pillar design. I don't know if I could come up with a better, like, pillar design, right? And I feel like it would be better to like incorporate the same things, like the same elements more. Because that's always a good thing to do in your levels, right? Is to like incorporate the same kind of elements multiple times, just so it feels like it fits in a lot more, right? Yeah. Also, this is my level, I can do what I want. Anyway, I think we should probably come up with a new background design for this part as well. I want to do something that's more just straight up and down, I think. Oh my god, I just pulled out like half a head of hair, what the hell? I'm gonna go bald at the age of 30, dude, I swear to god. Maybe I can incorporate something with a black square. I need the black square in there, you know? Ooh, what about like this? A little stripy design? That could be neat. Okay, this isn't gonna line up very well, I don't think, but no. This is kind of a cool design, or even something like that. Yeah, so it's like got a snaking bit going down. I like that. I like that. So what if I do that and then on the outside have like this, but then maybe what I'll do is I'll put some blocks like behind these. So these will go in there, but behind those, right? And that gives like a nice backing color. But what I'll also do is give these the pulsing groups maybe. Oh, it only pulses the detail, but these are all base. Oh, that's the base. Are these the detail? These are the detail. Okay, awesome, awesome. We just don't use those blocks. We just use these ones instead. So you can kind of see how that pulses up and down like that. You kind of see that behind, but then these will go behind those. Okay, I like that. I like that. And then what I'll also do as one last thing is I'll add in some of these guys to kind of stick just slightly further out than that, right? And then give these the exact same pulsing groups as well. Yeah, so you can kind of see how that works. I think that's neat. And then we can have those like shifting up and down in the background, right? And of course, these will be scaled up to 2 times like so. I just doubled up these little outside bits, by the way, just to make them a little bit more obvious. I think that's neat. Yeah, I might go ahead and make all of that like less opaque. Alright, cool. So we've got most of the background in place now. Now I just need to add in some of the movements. So I think, let me turn select filter off. We can make 35 go up and 34 go down to start off with. I think that's pretty good. I keep getting this stupid bug. The bounce out fading is so good, dude. It's actually great. We need to, once you get here, we need to shift away the old background as well. So what group is this? 33 and 32, right? Yeah, 33 and 32. I'll honestly just copy paste these so that they shift away at the same time that those shift in. I think that's a pretty good transition. Let's see that. Yeah, that's neat. I really like that. Okay. We need some saw blades in here, I reckon, but I think they need to be a bit smaller, so I might make just a smaller saw blade design, maybe just using these ones here. Just these ones, but with like random groups through them. So like this will be 20s, that'll like pulse like that, right? And then I'll add another one down here, which is, hang on, before I do that, let's like finish this design off. Just add one of those, it's background blending or something, I don't know, something simple. Lower brightness so it's less opaque, something like that, yeah. Honestly, I think that works. I'm just going to do that. And then this will have the next group. And then I'm just going to like increment the groups every time I copy paste them. So this one will have the next group, that kind of thing, right? Nice. Okay, yeah, I think that helps to fill in some space. I like that. And what I want to do right here is have some sort of effect as you go over here. So like maybe I was thinking of doing like music notes even. I know music notes are like not very widely used anymore, but I kind of like the idea of using music notes. So I'm going to do like 36 and then just kind of keep going across and just adding all of these to a new group. Okay, so now I have all of these. These need to be like, I want them to be visible, but like very, very barely. So like that or something. And then as you go past them, they'll all light up like that. I think that'll be sick. So that means that'll light up a bunch, right? Then I can just increase all of these. And because all of these are evenly spaced like block by block, this should be pretty easy to like do, right? No, that's awesome, dude. I love that. Just a little one-off effect, you know? I think that's cool. All right, I think there's only one more thing that I have to do here, and that is to add in the hue changes and pulses once again. We got these pulses in place. We need the rotations. We need these pulses of like these block designs here like that. And we need the background hue changes, of course. So let me just copy paste a bunch of those real quick. So for some of these color changes, it comes into the part with this, right? So it goes from blue to here, and I'm kind of doing it with shifting around the color wheel. I'm trying to go to like similar colors for the most part. This goes to pink, and then it goes to a bit more of a red, which stays the default for a while, where it goes to kind of pulses to a more yellow, then goes back to the red, and then it goes to like a green really quickly, and then mellows out to a bit more of a bluey green right there. That's cool. I'm really happy with that, dude. I'm really, really happy with that, actually. All right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this part complete as well. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I'm really, really happy with this. Now I'm going to do some real quick bits with polishing, like transitioning out of this quite nicely. I have a bit of an idea for this. I may as well do this on camera. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start by copy pasting these to go all the way across like this. And I'll add in a couple more of like these little bits down here and then just kind of continue them along. I'll add this to the next free group, which is 50. And then I want 50 to kind of fall off. 0.2 and then move it by like -50 or something. Like I literally want it to happen as soon as you stop touching that slope. So like there, I want that to happen. I'm just gonna have to go through the same process with this top bit here as well, I think. Yeah. I honestly like the top movement a lot better, so I'm going to convert the bottom one to that as well. I love that. Aside from the fact that it doesn't work very well, I really, really like that. So I just need to copy paste these across a bit more. Just blocks below like this that are on T3. Yeah, that's such a good transition out, dude. Oh, I love that. Okay, obviously the transition out isn't finished, but I'll finish that when I like actually work on the next part, because obviously I don't know what it's going to transition into if I haven't made what it transitions into, right? So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this episode complete as well. Today we managed to get this part done, this whole section here, and this whole section here. That's like the first half of the drop. From there it goes into like... I kind of want to go into a duel here. I think that would be quite neat, but we'll work on that in the next episode. And yeah, boom. I'm actually really, really happy with how this is turning out. But I guess to show how happy I am, we should probably do a full showcase, shouldn't we? Hey, wait, whoa. I cannot end it yet. How could I end it yet, dude? Oh my god. Select all, don't fade, don't enter, and glow off. I know you're all gonna yell at me if I don't. All right, let's do the final showcase. There we go. Okay. I'm so proud of the decoration, and I am so proud of just like the gameplay and everything. I don't know. It's just awesome, dude. I'm so glad I started this series. Each of these episodes take quite a lot of time and effort to make. Like, I think I've been recording for about 5 hours total, building like, you know, the part that I built in this. But I've been really liking it, dude. It's a little bit intimidating whenever I go to record these. I'm not gonna lie, because, you know, as much as I say that like I'm trying to not worry about it being rate worthy or whatever, it is still a bit of a worry. I don't want to have like a really good first part and then like kind of fall off. But I don't think I fell off with this. I think this design's like really cool with all the pulsing objects and like with all the movements and pulses and stuff. I think it's like not static at all. I don't know. I really like it. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end off this episode here. We got 26 seconds already. Dude, hell yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed. Big thank you to the members as always, especially Cool Guy. And yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.